desert wind carried the scent of dust, horses, and regret as the sun bled across the horizon. In a lonely corner of Arizona territory, a cowboy named Jack Callahan sat outside his ranch, cleaning his revolver under the dying light. He was a man hardened by years of survival, a former soldier turned drifter, his heart carved with scars from a life spent among betrayal and loss. He owned little but his land, a few cattle, and a reputation for being fair. Though some said he was too kind for a world that thrived on cruelty, that kindness would soon test him like never before. One evening, a group of settlers rode up to his ranch, rough men, half-drunk and desperate. They owed Jack money for horses he'd sold them months ago, and now, unable to pay, they offered something else. "We got a slave girl," their leader said with a smirk. "Caught her near Apache Creek. She's strong, silent, and worth more than gold in the right market." Jack's jaw tightened. He hated the trade of human lives. It was something he swore he'd never be part of. But the men were armed, and the girl, bound by ropes, her wrists bruised, stood trembling beside them. Her skin was sun-kissed, her long black hair tangled with dust, and her eyes, dark as midnight, held a fury that burned hotter than the desert sun. Jack tried to refuse, but the men threw her at his feet and rode off into the night. For a moment, he just stood there, staring at her, this girl who looked at him not with fear but defiance. "You're free to go," he said softly, cutting her bonds. But she didn't move. She stood tall despite her exhaustion. "If I go," she whispered, her voice trembling yet proud, "your life ends before sunrise." Jack frowned. "What do you mean?" She looked toward the distant mountains and said, "You have taken the daughter of the Apache chief. My father will come for blood." The word struck him cold. The girl, her name she said was Tala, had been captured by settlers while gathering herbs beyond the tribal boundary. They'd sold her like cattle. Jack's stomach turned as he realized the horror of it. He tried to send her back immediately, but she refused to leave that night. "The desert will kill us both," she said quietly. "Wait for dawn," and so they did. They sat by the fire in silence, the crackle of flames between them. Jack watched her wrap her hands in a piece of cloth, and something inside him softened. He offered her food, water, and when she finally spoke again, her voice carried both pain and strength. "You are not like them," she said, "but you live among them." At sunrise, Jack saddled his horse. "I'll take you back," he said. But before they could leave, the sound of hooves thundered from beyond the ridge. A dozen Apache riders appeared, led by a towering man with painted face and eyes that burned with rage. It was Chief Gray Hawk, Tala's father. He dismounted, spear in hand, and shouted words that made the air tremble. The warriors surrounded Jack. He raised his hands, trying to explain, but to them, he was just another white man holding an Apache woman captive. In an instant, they struck him down, bound his wrists, and dragged him toward their camp. When Jack awoke, he was tied to a post near the fire pit, surrounded by the tribe. Tala knelt before her father, trying to speak. "He didn't hurt me," she said. "He tried to free me." But Greyhawk's anger was a storm. "You expect me to believe a white man's mercy?" he thundered. "They burned our homes and call it justice. They take our daughters and call it trade," the tribe murmured in agreement. Jack, bleeding and bruised, found his voice. "I never wanted her," he said. "They forced her on me. I only wanted to return her." But the chief's eyes saw only an enemy. "Then you will return her with your life," he said coldly. That night, while the tribe prepared for his execution, Tala slipped through the shadows to his side. "Why didn't you run?" she whispered. Jack looked at her with tired eyes. "Because running makes me the monster they think I am." She felt tears burn her eyes for the first time. He was no villain, just a man trying to survive in a world that forgot mercy. "I will speak for you," she promised. But the chief's word was law. At dawn he would die. The first chapter ends with the firelight flickering across Jack's face as he closes his eyes, ready for his final sunrise. Before we continue, if this story has already caught your heart, make sure you subscribe right now to my channel for more emotional Western tales of love, sacrifice, and destiny. Because in the next chapter, everything you thought you knew about honor and freedom will be turned upside down. The morning sun broke through the canyon, walls like fire on stone. The camp stirred with the sound of drums, slow, steady, heavy with judgment. Jack stood before the tribe, hands tied, his shirt torn, his face shadowed with dust. The chief's warriors formed a circle. Tala stood outside it, her heart pounding. The chief stepped forward, raising his hand to the sky. "The desert will take his life," he declared. But before the sentence could fall, Tala's voice cut through the air. "Father, you cannot kill him!" The crowd turned. "He is innocent," she cried. "He saved me. He protected me when others would have broken me." Her voice shook with desperation. "If you must spill blood, take mine with his." The chief froze. The tribe fell silent. No one had ever spoken to him that way. "You shame your people," he growled. "You forget who you are." She took a step forward, trembling but unbroken. "I remember exactly who I am, your daughter, the one who carries your heart." Her words were like arrows of truth. The chief's eyes softened for a moment, just long enough for Jack to speak. "She deserves to live free," he said. "If my life pays for that, then so be it." His voice was steady, fearless. It was then the chief saw what his daughter saw. Not a white enemy, but a man of honor. He ordered the ropes cut. The warriors hesitated, but his tone was final. "Let him go." Jack fell to his knees, exhausted. Tala ran to his side, helping him stand. The tribe watched as Greyhawk spoke again. "You entered my land as a thief of souls. You leave as a man who understands our blood." He turned to Tala and said quietly, "If your heart chooses him, then may the spirits guide your path." That was his way of blessing them, a gesture no one expected. As the days passed, Jack and Tala grew inseparable. He helped the tribe rebuild fences, traded horses, learned their ways. What began as repayment became love, quiet, fierce, and unbreakable. Yet the world outside their valley was not kind. Word spread of a cowboy keeping an Apache woman, and bounty hunters rode to find them. One night fire lit the horizon again, that men came with guns. Jack fought beside the tribe, defending them like his own family. When the battle ended, the desert was silent once more. Many had fallen, but the tribe survived. In the aftermath, the chief approached Jack, placing his hand on his shoulder. "You bled with us," he said. "Now you belong with us." From that day, Jack was no longer an outsider, and Tala, the chief's daughter once traded as a slave, became the bridge between two worlds. As the story closes, the camera fades to a sunset. Two silhouettes, side by side, riding beyond the red cliffs into the horizon. A cowboy and a warrior's daughter, proof that love can rise from even the deepest wounds. And if this story moved your heart, my friend, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Western love stories, emotional journeys, and cinematic storytelling that reminds us what humanity really means. Every like, every comment, every subscription helps keep these powerful tales alive.